And instead, we'll pick up more of a southerly wind, and that is going to lift the temperatures through the weekend and on into the start of next week. We're expecting quite a lot of dry weather. There will be some spells of sunshine around, and these temperatures 16 to 19 degrees quite easily. We may get into the low 20s Celsius. But in the short term, take care if you're travelling today, particularly in the south and the west of the UK, with some very strong winds. Jane. All
right, Ben, thank you very much. Yes, thank you. Ben Rich there with the weather prospects. And just a reminder of our top story here this lunchtime. The US President Joe Biden is visiting Northern Ireland. He's met Rishi Sunak and shared tea there in Belfast. And as we've reflected, in the last hour, he's been giving a speech at Ulster University. He has urged the political parties in Northern Ireland to return to power sharing. And that is it from the BBC News at 1 team for today. Goodbye from everybody here on BBC One. We'll join our news teams now wherever you are. Have a very good afternoon. Bye-bye.
Hello, I'm Nazia. Mogra. Welcome to North West Today. The headlines this Wednesday lunchtime. We find out what happens to the fake bags, trainers and clothes seized by police on Manchester's counterfeit street. Final preparations as the horses gear up for the Grand National Festival, which starts tomorrow. Good afternoon. It's dubbed Counterfeit Street. Manchester's Bury New Road is full of shops filled with hundreds of thousands of pounds of fake designer goods. In the past on this programme, we have covered extensively Greater Manchester Police's efforts to close these shops down with more than £40 million worth of items seized. But what happens to the fake trainers, bags and clothes? Here's Kaylee Watterson.
A police raid on a shop in Cheetham Hill. It's found to be selling thousands of pounds worth of fake goods. But what's done with all the items that are confiscated by the police? Well, that's where Tim Jensen comes in. He's taken more than 300 tonnes of items from recent raids to recycle.
I come in here and look to see opportunities. It's trying to do some good with some of these things.
Some items cannot be reused and have to be destroyed, but everything else can be given a new life.
We've been looking at delabelling, taking logos off. You either embroider over the top or you print over the top of them.
Some of the clothing is rebranded and given to people in need. Other items are shredded and reused.
Some of the things you have to shred because the patterns, they're so intensive with the colouring, it's trademarked, so it's got to be shredded. But that doesn't mean that's the end of it. You can mix in some of the different fabrics so it can be respun and used in blankets, jumpers, t-shirts.
Even trainers and handbags can be reused. They can be used as filling for mattresses and dog beds. GMP say that fake goods fund organised crime and they will continue to tackle the issue in this area of the city.
Money that you're spending here is going to a criminal enterprise. They will do it to then buy drugs, buy guns. It's not going into your local economy that. There is no returns here. You can't bring your stuff back. You'll be met with violence if you try and do so. There's just so much wrong with it.
Kaylee Watson, BBC North West Today.
Let's take a look at some of the day's other news now from across the region. And junior doctors have turned out on picket lines outside hospitals in the region for a second day as their 96-hour strike continues over pay. Hospital bosses say that with each day of the industrial action, the situation is becoming more difficult. Hundreds of appointments and operations have been cancelled. Strong winds have meant disruption to parts of the northwest overnight. More than 16,000 homes lost power across Lancashire and Cumbria. Meanwhile, dashcam footage captured this moment. A lorry overturned on the M62 near Rochdale at around 7 o'clock last night. The Met Office says winds reached speeds of up to 40 miles an hour in the region, and we will have a full weather forecast in a moment. Residents in Lancashire are calling for plans to build a new water tunnel from the Lake District to Greater Manchester to be reconsidered. United Utilities has submitted a planning application to replace a drinking water tunnel system. Objectors say the countryside surrounding the pipe will be irreparable damage during the 10-year construction. The Manx government has denied any responsibility for a landslide near Laxey last month, which led to 2 homes being evacuated, but it has appointed a surveyor to carry out further inspections and draw up a report. And a new stadium being built for Everton FC has been chosen to stage some of the games in the Euro 2028 Football Championship. The new venue at Bramley Moor Dock in Liverpool is expected to open next year. Manchester City's Etihad Stadium has also been selected, but Manchester United's Old Trafford ground has not. Now, final preparations are underway at Aintree ahead of the start of the famous Grand National Festival. Racing begins tomorrow with the big race itself on Saturday. Lots of horses from the hugely successful Irish racing yards are being stabled at the course, and Richard Askham has been to see them being put through their paces.
Riding out at Aintree this morning, some of the horses who'll be stabled there for the next few days.
Morning. You alright?
All watched over by Amy Martin, who makes sure they have everything they need.
You live for this time of the year, you really do. Once those horses start arriving, that atmosphere in the stables is just, you can't beat it, you can't make it anywhere else.
Horses from some of the dominant Irish racing yards are already here, and for staff from the northwest, it's even more exciting. Camilla Sharples is from Lancaster.
We love coming to Aintree. It's really special because, you know, everyone back home, they all watch and ask me for tips and stuff. Not that I'm very good at giving them, but
I might have a word later.
But no, it's you know, I've family in Liverpool, and it's just great. I just love being here. Everyone knows Aintree. Everyone knows the Grand National.
157 horses a day will be looked after here at the stables at Aintree, including some of the most famous names in the sport. And as you can imagine, they need to be in tip-top condition ahead of the races, and nothing is left to chance. Including making sure they aren't disturbed. Filming isn't allowed in the stables themselves. Do the horses, I imagine some of them have particular requirements? Do they have little quirks?
They do. Some horses like to go out at certain times. Some horses need to have so much walking before they go out. There's just little things. They're all different. They're all characters.
Characters that between them will need about 500 bales of wood shavings and the same number of bales of paper to make sure they feel at home ahead of the big races. Richard Askham, BBC North West Today.
Low pressure, and they will move through reasonably quickly, but they'll certainly be on the heavy side, and the gusts are up to 40 miles an hour through this afternoon. 9 Celsius the daytime temperature. It certainly feels quite chilly, and through the evening and overnight, further heavy showers working their way through. The wind will strengthen further into the early hours, so gusts of up to 50 miles an hour for a time, and then gradually through Thursday it will be an improving picture. There's still going to be a few showers out there though, the odd sunny spell also likely, but the wind slowly starting to ease down through the daytime, and the daytime temperature gradually increasing as well, with a maximum temperature of 11 Celsius.
Thank you, Sarah. That's it from me and the lunchtime team. Roger is back with North West tonight at 6:30 this evening. Hope you can join us then. Whatever you're up to though this afternoon, have a lovely day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.